So, namaste all, and thank you for joining today, this evening for the grants workshop. So, here today we will be exploring what all grant opportunities are available today for all of us, especially all the faith-based organizations in United States. And we will try to do a deep dive on one of the particular grant that will be opening soon towards the end of the March, which is a non-profit security grant. So first, let's understand that how big is this opportunity? And we have been working with multiple government agencies, including the federal agencies, and we have realized currently the federal government is pouring in billions and billions of dollars towards the grants, which has the eligibility criteria which can be met easily by most of our dharmic organizations. Hence, we thought we will have this educational workshop for all of you guys so that you can align your projects with the existing opportunities and try to get this federal government grants that we have available. And recently, actually, Prem Polusuri ji, who is the VP of our programs, visited some of the federal workshops, and that's where he realized that there's a lot of money available out there. We are just not trained uh, to go and apply for these grants. So that's why Seva International decided to host these kind of workshops so that we can work all together. And and that also is one of our motto to work. Together we serve better. So that's why uh, this workshop is scheduled for today. So, what are the agencies that generally give these kind of funding? So there are a lot of departments under the federal agencies and administrations that have these grants like the DHS, FEMA, CDC, AmeriCorps, USDA, HRSA, HUD. So these are many federal agencies at a national level which actually provide a lot of funding throughout the year. Um, and Apart from the national level funding, all the state governments, as well as the county administrations, city administrations, and even the school district level, there are a lot of grant opportunities that keep coming on their agenda every year. So we just have to keep a tap on all of these opportunities to make sure any opportunities that align with our programs and our priorities, we should be applying for those. So the first question that everybody asks us is like, are we eligible? So yes, all the temples and dharmic organizations are eligible, and as long as they are registered under the 501(c)(3). And one more thing, which is a key requirement for all the organizations to receive any federal grant, is to get a SAMS and a UEI number. So there is a process on the grants.gov which is assigned, and we will share all these resources also in the email um, to understand how to get the SAMS registration done for our organization. So once we have both these registrations done, and one of the key requirements for most of these federal grants is to have some policy compliances. So each grant can come up with a list of policies that we want, but there are some common policies like security policies, non-discrimination policies, code and conduct policies. A very standard set of policies needs to be implemented for all your organizations, and they need to be compliant with the federal compliances. And then, yes, if we meet all these three criteria, we are eligible. So, what are the opportunities that generally come? So, these are the areas based on what we feel most of our partner organizations are running their projects under. Uh, these are the opportunities that generally come. One is the food security. Most of the dharmic organizations and temples do some sort of serving food or food security related activities. So there are some opportunities available over there. Many of our organizations are also running some of the health initiatives for the underserved communities. So there are some opportunities available in that area as well. Lot of educational activities are also conducted by most of you guys in your premises, be it for the sake of preserving your culture or supporting the learning of any particular Indian language or shlokas or anything. So we do have some educational grants that come every year that we can take a look at. Along with that, there are other opportunities in terms of the engagement of the volunteers, either in the environmental stewardship kind of activities, as well as any other volunteer activities which can promote the youth volunteers and activism for a certain cause. Of course, non-religious cause. So these can also be covered under environmental stewardship and the youth and volunteer engagement opportunities that come. And the last one that we are going to do a little bit of deep dive today is a non-profit security grant. So most of us have their own facilities, and we have seen in the past coming years, the security is a key issue, and that is also identified by the federal government agency FEMA. So they have started giving non-profit security grants to secure your structure as well as the systems, so that your community, if it is at a threat to some, it poses any kind of threat, then it is all covered in a non-profit security grant. So a quick overview of a food security grants, what kind of grants that come. So generally these food security grants come from the local departments. One sec. They generally come from the local departments, such as Office of the Grants Management or Writing Assistance from the Mayor's Office. Many of these grants also come from City Council or Community Development Block grants that also offers a lot of food security grants and the local school districts. And so, in order to really keep a tab of all these opportunities, we must be registered on all these local federal agencies in our area and keep checking their official websites for what their grant programs are, what their opportunities are, and what are the guidelines. Also, it is advisable to attend any city council meetings or any community forums to stay informed about these and try to build a relationship with them, so that if such kind of funding is available to them, you get to know even before they are posted on the website, and you are better prepared for it. Generally, the grant amount can range anything from like couple of $1,000 to $100,000. And we do have some of our chapters in Seva who have received or who have been receiving these kind of opportunities. They are running some food kitchen or food pantry. So I'm pretty sure many of your organizations are also doing this. So this is one opportunity that people can go and get easily if you guys have the right connects, and you keep tap of when the grants open. These are the proposals for these are also very straightforward. Um, so the next one is the health initiatives. I know more when we say the health initiatives, it can be a very complicated thing of like running maybe a community health clinic or something like that. But if you think from another perspective, when we are focusing on meditation, mindfulness, yoga, or something, it can also come under the health initiatives, especially focusing on the mental health. So that's why there are a lot of programs, especially the behavioral health workforce education and training programs. HRA has multiple grants that keep coming into multiple steps. We can always, if you guys are not into any particular medical clinic, but at least we can focus if we can do something for the mental health related activities and apply for those. And of course, AmeriCorps state and national health funding priorities are also there. In fact, Seva International is currently running a program under the AmeriCorps state at California to focus on the mental health for our youth. and at least in our community. So we did receive that kind of grants. And our team has all the expertise to help you out if any one of you are interested in applying for such kind of grants. Again, the eligibility criteria is the same. It has to be a registered nonprofit organization. And you can get all these applications and all the information about the opportunities on the grants.gov or sometimes even the HRSA website. So what kind of documents generally are needed for any health initiatives? Um, yes, of course, financial reports, some organizational documents like your bylaws, finances, any policies. If it is a clinic or free serving clinic or something like that, what are your policies? Are there any partners from the medical field? How does your board look? Is there any sliding fee structure if you're charging for any of the services? So most of these documents are required for any of these applying for these federal opportunities. So what kind of programs? Of course, along with the community clinic, medical and awareness camps, which can be stated in the NOFO. But mental health is one of the key things which people can apply. And the grant amount is generally 100K to almost 1000K for this. And we have given some resources here so that you can go and check more details on these grants, or at least what are the upcoming opportunities and if they actually uh, match your requirement. So then the educational grants, generally there are some grants that are supported by AmeriCorps and specifically focusing on the families and the kids. Uh, Seva is running AmeriCorps state programs in across 4 to 5 states through our Aspire Students and Education Program. We have a good expertise both in application as well as implementation of these programs, so we can help you with that. The non-profit organizations which are running any kind of tutoring or any supplemental education for children of the underserved community, they are eligible to apply for these. Um, these opportunities can be seen on grants.gov too, but the application has to be done through eGrants. This is a different portal. And again, the documents that we need include your financial reports, organizational document. We need to have some performance measures defined for these programs. And the programs that generally qualify are any programs to educate kids on health, nutrition, disaster preparedness, mental health. These can also be included in there, or any cultural appropriate education that we are giving to our kids, which is from the sake of preserving our culture, are also eligible for these grants. So these grants amount from around 100K to 500K. The only thing is, some of these grants might require a matching from your organization. That means if we are applying for 75,000, 75K, then around 25%, which is around 25K, is expected to be matched by your own organization through other source of funding. So some of these federal grants do require the matching. So please be aware that not 100% of the grant will come from these programs. Again, we have some resources and detailed recordings about which are actually from the official AmeriCorps to go over here. I think it's the same one. So now let's get to the main grant that we all are here to understand and learn. So non-profit security grant is basically a security grant which is given to the faith-based organizations or the non-profit organizations to really prevent and protect any kind of terrorist or the extremist attacks that can happen on our organizations. And these funds or the grants, they are specifically focused on anything related to the security. So hence, when we apply for these grants, Make sure that the funding is focused on the security related activities. It can be either in terms of the infrastructure or any community engagement or any kind of systems that you guys are trying to put in place. So the focus is on the activities and the projects that build the capabilities to prevent and protect against any potential attack. And hence, it is a very highly competitive grant because many people apply for this, and many factors are rigorously evaluated based on your application, and hence the grant is very competitive for review and scoring. So the thorough preparation for this grant is must. And that is one of the reasons why we are hosting this webinar even before the grant is open for all. So let's try to understand how this grant process is. It is basically a sequential process. It is not it is not that you just apply for a grant in one go and proposal. There are set of sequential processes that you have to take care of before applying actually for this grant, and we will walk you through what are the essential steps and paperwork that needs to be prepared even before the grant is open. In fact, FEMA itself tries to host their resource sessions almost 2 months before the grant is open. And we have lots and lots of resources for you guys, which I'll be sharing soon to go over what all things needs to be done for this particular grant. So, the first thing is SAMS registration. Unless you have a SAMS registration or UEI number, you will not be eligible to apply for this particular grant. So if you go on sam.gov, make sure you are applying for your facility over there. Now, this UEI is associated with a physical address of your entity. So, if your facility is, if you're applying for multiple facilities, try to see if you can apply under one facility under one UEI number for the uh, multiple temples or multiple facilities. However, there is a restriction of funding, that how much funding that you can apply, and I'll go over that in later part of the presentation. Now, once you have your SAMS registration done, the second step is you have to create a login on the login.gov account, and this is where the application process happens. Hence, you have to create this login. Now, while registering for this SAMS account, make sure that your address is verifiable, and make sure it's all updated if you have done the SAMS registration before. The SAMS registration can take any time between 3 to 4 weeks. So this is one thing. And when you apply for that, your profile also is required to be made on the grants.gov. Now, when you register on the grants.gov, through which you have to basically, only one person from your organization can be an authorized representative first. Multiple people cannot have a registration on the grants.gov with the same UEI number. Hence, the way it works is one person creates this registration on the grants.gov, but uh, he can give permission to multiple people in your organizations to create their own logins and join your team. So just to keep it simple, the first thing is just just identify one authorized organizational representative and put all his details, because there is a phone number that needs to be added for the verification. There are multiple verification methods also that needs to be enabled in the grants.gov. So for while registering, make sure that first person registers, and then if multiple people want to access the grants application, you can always add them to the existing account, and they can still create a separate login with the same UEI and be a part of your team. So all these applications must be submitted to the grants.gov. Most of the federal government grants actually, in fact, has to be applied from the grants.gov with the exception of AmeriCorps grants. So there is a certain defined timeline where this grant is announced. Generally, the budget is passed by Congress and signed by the president. And then once it is done, it does NOFO has to be enabled at least 60 days from this budget of notice. So now once this NOFO or the RFP is announced, they give you a period of around somewhere between 30 to 60 days to respond to it, to apply for it. And this application goes to your state authorized agencies. Okay. So every state has some state authorized agencies which are assigned to review these, to receive these applications. And then SAE submits all the eligible applications to the FEMA agency. And then once the FEMA gets that, after a period of around 60 to 65 days, you get the announcement whether your application is selected or not. So, what is a state authorized agencies? So, let me go back now to the resources. I would like to get you started. So, this is a drive that I'll be sharing with you all. So, wherever your location is and wherever your registered UEI number is, based on that, FEMA has given the state agency contacts. So the first step before even the NOFO opens, all of us has to do is to go and connect with the state agencies, their and the offices, and all the details are given in this document, which will be shared to you. Connect with them and understand from them what is the process, because once the NOFO opens, the NOFO will have some deadline, but each state administrative agency can also have their own deadlines once the NOFO opens. Say, for example, Texas SA might decide that if the NOFO has a deadline of 31st May, but we want to make sure that we want to get the application earlier, so that if there is any changes required from your side, they will go back and forth and they need 15 days for that. So they might say that, okay, the NOFO says the deadline is May 31st or May 30th, but we want all the applications to be submitted by May 15th on your portal, so that we have that 15 days. So the first and foremost thing of the sequence is to connect, to identify from this list what is the state agency that applies to you based on your location. Connect with them, talk to them, send them a letter of intent saying that we want to apply for this grant and we would like to understand the process and the deadlines. So that is the first step. The second step, coming back to your presentation, right? So once you talk to your SAA, you got your deadline, you have to decide on two things: whether you want to apply for a funding stream of an urban area or a state area. So urban area is generally the funding for a particular state can be divided into two areas, and you need to figure out with the help of your SSA that the location that you're applying the grant for, whether that falls under the urban area or the state area, and how much is the funding available for those areas that you can apply for. And based on that, the state area. So generally, the application material that is sent to SAA comprises of three things. One is definitely the mission statement, which is used to validate the information. Then there are two more documents. One is the vulnerability assessment. In order to justify that your location is vulnerable to the terrorism, a complete vulnerability assessment form has to be filled up and submitted. And this assessment form basically is nothing but assessment of your facility in context to the threats and consequences of any of such potential events that can happen, and what is your proposal to prevent such kind of activities. And most of these activity or any other activities that you want to start in your facility, which should be directly linked to the mitigation of a specific vulnerability. Now, every state agency have a different format and templates for these vulnerability assessments also. So when you contact to your SSA and try to get the local requirements, they will provide you the template of the vulnerability assessment and who all are authorized to even fill it up for you. Because we need to have some supporting documentation that needs to be added here. Example, any of such incidences that has happened with your community in your area or in any similar area. You can also take help from some of your partner organizations or the other religious organizations, sorry, other organizations also to support the documentation or the evidences of such kind of threat against your against your community. You can also add any police reports or any insurance reports that you can get online. So once you get the vulnerability assessment template, then it is easy for you to justify that this is the vulnerability assessment we have, and hence we are asking for this funding for our infrastructure as well as for any activities or any management activities that we want to introduce to mitigate it. Now, along with that vulnerability assessment, there is something called an investment justification, where you have to give a complete budget of all the things, and I will be walking you guys through uh, the templates of it as well as we go further. So investment justification is basically the whole outline or the budget of all the activities that you propose in this particular project with the summaries and also the timeline that you want to implement this project for. So all these things you submit it to the SAE. Now, SAA will review, but all this material will not be passed on to FEMA as it is. So this is very important thing to remember that there can be a duplication of, hence there can be a duplication of things between your vulnerability assessment form and the investment justification form. Because SAA will review all these things with you and only pass on the investment justification form to FEMA as an application and FEMA will review. Yeah, FEMA will review this investigation justification form based on all the data only submitted in the investment justification. Hence, there can be a duplication of some mission statement or vulnerability assessment related information in your investment justification form. So if you guys feel that there is a duplication in the both these templates, this is the reason. So now, when we apply for this grant, what are the allowable versus unallowable expenditures? Anything which is uh, basically any controls or anything, access controls for the cyber security, any barriers, fencing, bollards that you want to install in your facility, any any particular types of doors or windows which are probably blast resistant or something like that you want to apply for, any contract security, any CCTV or security cameras. Um, One of our partners suggested that if we should have a security cameras or sensors which not only just captures the person but actually sprays some paint on them if they try to run on it. Some innovative ideas can come through it. The technology is evolving, so you can definitely figure that out. And anything related to the management and administration change that you want to do, if you want to set up a particular committee who's going to focus on that, if there is any trainings that you guys want to involve for your staff as well as for your volunteers. So anything in terms of the management and administration can fit into these allowable expenditures. The things that are not allowable is they are particularly listed the license plate reader software, any types of weapons or weapon training, any facial recognition software, because that can affect the privacy issues, um, any general expenses, salaries which are not related to these activities, then the Knox box or any key safe, definitely not. And any research or proof of concept initiatives or any studies that you want to do, those kind of things are not allowed in this expenditure. So, are there any questions right now? Sorry, before we move ahead into a deep dive.
Yes, I have a question. This grant is available. I mean, I applied for this grant maybe 2 months ago. Sent the application, I got acknowledgement, application accepted, but I didn't hear anything after that. So how do I proceed that?
So you applied on non-profit security grant for this year, 2024?
I don't know. I don't think was it this year. I'm not sure. I have to check my records. I think so.
Because generally it is not yet open for this year. So I'm just wondering, how did you get it open? Maybe your state agency is collecting the applications even beforehand. I'll have to check, but the current NOFO for this year is yet to open.
Also,
Do you know?
last year, but we didn't hear anything yet.
Yeah, so you did you check with your state agencies if they forwarded your application?
Well, I didn't not do that because I don't know the process. Now you're saying you should have email number and EIN number, something like that. But we do have EIN number. That is, every cop will have that number. But when
Yes,
the
yes. So what you need to do is you need to go and connect with your state administrative agency to understand if they received your application and was there any issue, and try to seek a feedback if it was forwarded or if they are just waiting for this year's cycle to open and then forward it.
oh,
So you need to first get connected with the state agency. That is why it is a sequential process.
yeah,
My suggestion is
you,
go ahead.
are you going to send all these the contact number?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes, yes.
Excuse me.
All the resources.
Do you
Yeah.
know when this year process will be open or RFP will be open this year?
I'm expecting this to be opening in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know the exact date, but it should open in March. So, I mean, it's a high time that everybody should be connecting with these state agencies as soon as possible. Yeah, please go ahead. Somebody raised a hand.
Yeah, hello. Yeah,
Hello,
do we have
Namaste,
yeah, Namaskar ji. So is a SAM requirement is mandatory? For example, we have never applied for this in the past, and we do have the EIN number and other documents. So is the SAM registration is mandatory, and how much time it takes?
So, SAM's registration is mandatory now for any federal, not just this grant, but any federal grant to be applied. And that it can take around 3 to 4 weeks. So my suggestion is please go ahead and enable it. You need to get a UEI number once the SAM's registration done in order to even apply on the grants.gov or create a login on the grants.gov to apply for this application. So it is a must.
Yeah, Manali
Your
ji,
UTI number, excuse me, UTI number is over and above the
UEI
SAM
number.
registration.
UEI number is generated once your SAM's registration is done.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
yeah, Manali ji, when you say contract security, right? Is it security contractors or what does that term mean? The security contract.
Sorry, I missed out. Where did I use this? Okay.
So I mean, we were saying the grant allowed activities are contract security, right?
Right. So anything like if you are trying to set up a contract for the security personnel or something like that.
Okay.
So which is not a full-time. So if you're not hiring a full-time employee, but maybe a security man on a contract basis, that is allowed.
Yeah, that's I just want to clarify.
Namaste ji, you've also mentioned management and administration over here, right? So what exactly does that
Yes.
comprise of? Because I was
Yeah.
thinking that, like, do you mean like a security committee or something like that? Like, what exactly is
Correct.
that?
Yes, exactly. So if you want to create a separate committee which is gonna try to do any kind of activities related to the to the security aspect, yes, that comes under the management. If you want to even do any training, that committee will try to set up some trainings for your volunteers, your employees, or create a particular structure or a plan, something like that, a review of all these activities, the impact analysis of these activities. Anything
Right.
like that can come under the management and administration of the activities.
Right. And the justification for that would be again that this community would be basically for management of security and stuff like that, right? So if we
Yes,
have to justify
yes.
certain amount of funds for that, then we basically say like this will be our contribution towards this like community, something
Correct.
like that.
And
Would that be clear?
you have to clearly articulate what will be the activities of these committee that you want to support for, and you have to
Mhm.
give them the milestone, how many hours will be spent by this committee, what should be the final outcome and impact of this. All that things has to be articulated properly in your proposal.
Fair. Right. Thank you.
We have Rakesh Patel ji next.
Yeah,
Rakesh,
hi, how are you? So my question is
Namaste,
that you
Rakesh.
mentioned that only one person is authorized for this. So we have about 15 plus locations, and we would how do we apply that? So only one person can manage all the 15 locations, or how does that work?
No, no. So if you have 15 locations, is it in the same state or
No,
multiple
no,
states?
different states we have, but
Okay, so my suggestion
they're all
is,
non-profit, Manalis.
yeah, so my suggestion is apply for SAM's registration per state in that particular case, because you can apply for multiple facilities in one go, but the funding will be limited, I think. The number is limited, and this year I don't know how much it's gonna be. So the best thing for your particular case is to apply for SAM's registration in different states wherever your facilities are with that facilities, and then have a multiple applications done. So every grants.gov account is associated with one UEI number that you receive from the SAM's registration.
Yeah, but we have one EIN number. So you said that the UEI
You
that
can have that. You can have that.
I can have that, right?
So
So
with,
the unique
yes,
identifier can be different, and the EIN number can be same, correct?
correct.
Okay, I got it.
No, and it is basically associated with the address. So if you have facilities in multiple states, you can register for those facility addresses.
Okay, so every individual at every location, they need to register for SAM using the same EIN number.
Not every, per state, per state. I
Per
think
state, yeah, that's
SAM's
what I meant.
registration is per state.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I meant. So I have 15 locations in the 15 states. So, okay, cool.
Right.
Right.
But if you
Thank
have like five, six locations in the California, you can have only one UEI.
Yeah, I got it. All right, cool. Thanks.
One
Vinod
last
ji.
Hello?
one last G from my side actually. The SAM registration which you were talking about, does it have to be like exactly from like the president of our org or something like that, or can it be someone who's like a treasurer or somebody who we can just assign for this task?
Any
Like, does he
authorized
have to have
person
a
from your no, any
Right.
authorized person from your organization is fine.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
It
This
is
is
not
Vinod.
associated
I
with
have
the
one more
person.
question. Is it
It is
possible?
associated with. Sorry,
I
one
have
second.
one more
Let
question.
me
please.
answer. Let me answer the previous one. Sorry. The SAM's registration is not associated by the person who is trying to apply for it, but it is applying for the facility.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. So
Can
basically
apply for it.
anybody in the org, yeah, can basically do this. Yeah. Sure.
Correct. Sorry, go ahead. What was the
Yeah,
next
so
question?
my question is with all this that we have heard so far, it's somewhat difficult and complicated as well. Is there any local agent or some consultant available with some sort of a fee or something we can go through the support from them and get this approved a little bit more easier? Has that been done, or this is something that is not possible, or nothing available in
I
this
mean,
area?
you can get a lot of grant writers to help you with this, but I don't know if the I don't think there is a possibility to get it approved faster. So there are no consultations like that, specifically for any of such applications with FEMA.
No, it just
But
sometimes we are not following the process correctly, and in order to save some time, if you do have some consultant available, they can guide it a little bit more easier for us to make sure that we don't waste our time, or sometime the application has to be redone or something, and we might lose some time. So I mean, this is just a thought, okay? So
yeah, we don't have any consultants that we can share right now. But if there is any interest, we will try to find and pass down those information too.
So Manali ji, I mean, if they
Yeah.
can reach out to local Seva coordinators, right? I mean, maybe they have
Yes.
some contacts, so that is the best way for them to, get some help.
Definitely. I mean, our grants team is there. Seva grants team can definitely help you. So if you reach out to the coordinators, Seva coordinators, we would be happy to review your application and support you with that. But we won't be helping you in the writing or preparation. It has to be some point of contact from your organization.
So when
can have some support here in Houston area. Do they have any?
Yes.
A local university can offer you some help.
Who is this?
A local university or college may be able to offer you some help.
Really?
In terms of writing, I think, right?
So I was thinking, this is Neelam. I was thinking, do you have your like simple template showing what are the different parameters for security and how much money can be assigned?
Yeah, I will be. So that is the next part we are trying to go. We do have some templates, and I will forward a lot more other templates as we get it. So
We
let's
have
try
one more
with this.
question. We have one more question from Subramanian.
Yeah, one
please go
question.
ahead.
Just the sequence. We have registered in SAMS. So
Okay.
now we have to wait for the grant to be announced before doing the application, correct?
No, get connected with your state administrative agency even before that, and try to get this vulnerability assessment template, their deadlines, and the investigation justification templates from them.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I have a
You don't
question.
have to
I have a
wait for the
question.
NOFO to open. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, question is that is it a yes or no approval of the grant, or is it like sometimes they reduce the amount to be approved, or how does the approval work typically?
When it is between SSA and SAA and you, there can be a back and forth discussions about the budget edits or something like that. But once it is submitted to the FEMA, the final is only yes and no. There is no back and forth.
And what's that? And is there any typical maximum or minimum amount which they look for, or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I will go through that.
Please comment.
Okay, one more question. Are there any more slides after this question and answers, or this is the last slide?
No, there are multiple slides after this.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So the vulnerability assessment is a key document that once you connect with your SSAs, so the step 2 is to connect with your SAA and try to get these templates. And I have attached some templates for you guys so that you understand what it is, how it looks. So as you can see, this is from, I forgot which. Okay, this is from the Mississippi office that we got. So the templates looks like this. It asks for your general assessment participation. This assessment participants is basically those who will be conducting these assessments. Make sure that these assessment is probably done by some of the authorities from the security, like maybe a retired police officer or something like that too. But check with your state agencies if they have any people who can actually do this assessment for you as well. Any veteran is also allowed to do that. Any officials are allowed to do that. However, if you don't know anybody, of course, you can do the self-assessment as well. So the self-assessment looks more or less like this. It asks you that, okay, what is What is the average number of visitors in your facility? What kind of community served? What are the programs? And then what are the threats? So here is what we have to list down the actual incidences, the date of the incidences. It need not be at your premises. It can be in your area. It can be for your community. It can be for any faith-based community. So we can get a lot of such incidences and date of those incidences and details here. So we have to add all this backup saying that, oh, these kind of crime happen in our community or in our area, which we think we are vulnerable for. And then it is a detailed assessment questions based on what we have. Do you guys have a security manager, committee? All those things you need to answer. These questions are also moreover the same. Like, has your security team coordinated plans? Are you connected with the law enforcement officials? Do you have any lockdown, lockout, or shelter procedures that are trained for all your people visiting as well as your employees? Also, is there any crisis communications plan? So somebody was asking me earlier, right? What kind of things that can be done by the management team? So actually, this question gives you a lot more idea that if your facility or if your organization doesn't have all these things, you can think about implementing all these things, and that can be your management. You can actually say that we want to apply, we want to hire one people or two people to actually take care of these things. And then what kind of security forces that you have? Does your organization have any security operations? Are there any existing staff who has any security related activities that they are performing? And then is your organization hosting meetings, events, or gathering in your facility or any external facility? What kind of equipment you guys have? All those detailed things generally. And then there is a perimeter and access control assessment also, and that I will show you from the picture. But it basically you need to show that how does your perimeter and the access control look for your facility, what kind of installation have been done. Um, so those kind of things are also covered in this vulnerability assessment. I know it looks very difficult, but really, if you don't understand anything from this, your state administrative agency will be happy to assist you on that. And we are also here to help you answer any questions. So once you register in our database and when you say that you have a SAMS registration done and you have already connected with SSA and you are working on the vulnerability assessment and investigation justification, we will help you to review this with you and support you with any of the queries that are coming up for these kind of documents. Coming back to the presentation, the next one is the investigation justification. Now that you have proved that you are vulnerable and you have clearly identified the risk, now you need to give them a plan that exactly what kind of implementation that you want to get done in your organization and what will be the budget for it. So this particular worksheet, if you see, and as I said, there can be a duplication because this is the only file that goes to FEMA. So this is again one of the templates that we have. Based on your organizational information, describe the symbolic value of the site. Institution who is trying to apply for it. So we need to say that why it is, what is the significance of this facility, and hence kind of explain that since this is a significance, this is maybe a Hindu faith-based temple, which is very significant for our community, and hence this can be a significant place or a potential target for the terrorism. So you can have a good explanation over here. You can also describe any previous or existing role in responding if you have done anything in terms of responding or recovering from the terrorist attacks. Then again, it asks you that list down all kind of threats that are there, list down the vulnerabilities, any potential consequences that can happen, and then focus more on what kind of vulnerabilities that you have identified and then how you plan to fix it. So what are you proposing? Say assuming there's just an example given there that if you think that your front entrance is very unsecured, so the solution that we want to implement is we want to have a key card access control systems or any remote video intercom or something like that, and that is why we are asking for this money. So you have to now connect your vulnerabilities with the solutions that you are asking money for. And if you are asking for any particular equipment, you need to give some details of this. That okay, I want to apply, I want to buy for this AEI number. And these AEL for all the equipments can be found in this particular list, which is a FEMA authorized equipment list. So on the FEMA.gov, they have actually given a list of all the authorized equipments that you can ask for, and you can list them down here and you can say, okay, this is the vulnerability that will be addressed and what is the request for those. This is just an example, and then what are the milestones that will be given, and how will you manage it, whether you have a particular project manager assigned to it. Generally, it is advised to have a one full timer, and it should also be tried to be budgeted in here, that one full timer will be managing this project and the funding, because there are the reports that you guys need to send. Once you have implemented the project, there has to be a lot of back and forth communication between the FEMA. It is not like they give you money and then they don't come back. It has to be a quarterly reporting of the progress and the impact of this money that has on your facility. So it is always advisable to have one dedicated resource to take care of this. So please ask for that in the budget as well, the salary of that one person. And of course, then what will be the impact? You have to define what is the impact that you are planning to see, and any funding history for your organization. So more or less templates will look with the similar content with probably couple of questions here and there. So as we were just saying, right, the parameter security considerations. So generally, on the FEMA, they also ask that how does your facility look? And they have these clear terminologies of what is the outer perimeter, what is the middle perimeter, what is the inner perimeter. Inner perimeter is something which is internal to your facility. So they have given a clear definition of what it does and how you plan to mitigate the risk based on all these parameters. What all things that you have implemented, what all things are missing, and what all things you can implement from this funding. All those things can be added here. So basically, key takeaway that this is the feedback that FEMA has given from last year's application, that there were a lot of duplicative application. Now, this is one of the challenges if you go for a professional grant writer who is not from your organization. He might be writing this grant for multiple organizations. So there can be a lot of duplicative applications. He can probably just do copy paste and get more money, right? So that's why they are saying that if you hire a grant writer, review their work, and the non-profit must sign the IJ or the investigation justification. The FREMA provided IG must be submitted. Any incomplete package will not be reviewed by FEMA. Anything which is unallowable expenses from that list needs to be removed. We cannot put anything. Then the organizations applying on behalf of ineligible entities. So any non-profits may not act as a pass-through for a government or for profit. So we cannot apply kind of on behalf of anybody who is ineligible. They are also saying that please start early. Don't wait for the NOFO to be there. the non-profit should consider using their current published materials to begin drafting. So whatever material you can see on the NOFO, you can see from previous year, you can get started based on it. Get your threats, risk, and vulnerability assessments done earlier than later. And they must tie all these threats to any existing physical vulnerabilities. Direct hire, definitely contract hiring or any hiring outside the non-profit cannot be the sole source. So basically, as I said, one full-time project manager must be hired for this. If we are saying that we are not going to give any staff from our side, but only rely on the contract security, I think they are not accepting those kind of applications. And any misaligned or any unrealistic narratives, timelines, project activities, I mean, whatever we are proposing, it has to be logical, reasonable, and attainable in the time frame of 1 year. So many times this questions comes that can I apply for multiple locations and facilities for the same organization? Yes, you may. And just that, but for each facility, you have to submit a separate investigation justification because the parameters are going to be different and everything. And also the vulnerability assessment for the location also has to be done separately. And there is a cap, and I don't remember it from the last year's NOFO, I can try to find it. But they give you a cap, say for one project, if you are applying, they give you a 500K cap. You cannot go 500K cap even if you apply for the multiple locations.
It's
So that is generally
150,000. It's
okay.
150
150,000 per facility, correct?
per location, yeah. And maximum we
Yeah,
can have for only three. That is
300K.
450. No,
Okay, so this
450.
was 450K. Okay, so this is for 2023. Last year you could only apply maximum till 450K and maximum 3 locations with per locations 150K. With the same SAMS registration year. So that is generally the restrictions if you are applying for multiple locations with the same application. So a quick action plan. There is a link that is given by Sally ji earlier in the chat. So if you want to get any of these communications from us, please register on that link so that we have your email address and we will send all the recordings, presentations, all these resources and everything to you. And the second action plan that we want to do is create a Google folder with your temple name. If you have reached out to your SAA, you have got their templates, upload it, try to fill it up, and if you need our review, please send these folders to us. We will help you to review it and give our feedback on this as well. If you want, you can also upload any incidences or evidences to back these up over there in the same folder for your temple, and only send it to the partners grants. I will probably email that to you. Do not share with everybody. Just share it with one of our email, or you can also connect with the local chapter coordinator to get our email addresses. And if you respond to this particular query form, once you are done with this, we will know that you are seeking for a help from us to review these documents and work with your application. We will set up a time slot with you, review all these things with you, and provide our feedback. So I think that's all we have from our side. Now the floor is open for the questions.
We have some questions on the chat.
Okay.
So the first question is, are the grants on actuals upon and limit, or is it a percentage of expenses for security as example?
No, it is on the actuals.
Okay. Then another question is, can we get the sample template that you shared?
Sample template, yes. All the resources that I've shared today will be given along with basically the whole. So we have a whole Google folder where we have a bunch of resources and documents, all the essays, essay connects, All the documents that we have got from the FEMA, everything will be given to you. Also, if you go on the FEMA website, there are a lot of webinars and resources that are available. So please feel free to reach out to us if you need any kind of resources.
Next question
And
is
it
what
will be
is
shared right after this meeting.
Perfect. Next question is what is a reasonable amount to ask grant application?
You can go for max. If you really need, you can go for the maximum. There is no harm if you can justify what you are needing for. If this year's NOCO says that the cap is 450K or 500K, we can go for the maximum.
Okay. The next question is where is the best place to get the vulnerability assessment or insurance assessment for our area?
Generally, you can go get it from the local police office or the insurance offices. You can go and check it from the website. Yes, you can also try to get it from. Okay, can we use the NSGP for implementing? Yes, you can. You can use the fire suppressant system also, because you just have.
मैसेज करना बंद करो प्लीज आवाज कट रही है सारी
Any more questions? Please unmute if you're not asking the questions.
So
Yeah.
I have an idea. Let's say we are talking about the assessment or the threats in terms of the publicly available information against the community or the temples or any other faith community. So is there if all of us contribute together, is there some kind of a Google sheet where we can contribute for the, let's say, for the state of California, if we have observed all these kind of incidents and somebody's like there's a common shared file, which if anybody come across those, they can be logged in with the date and all those kind of things, with the reference material, and those can all be used by all of us,
Absolutely. And actually, if multiple people are actually working together in the state, you can also say, one thing that we have seen that worked, I think, in Sacramento or Indianapolis is they clubbed, they separate all applied for multiple applications, but in the vulnerability assessment, they said, okay, yes, we support this data too. We also use the same thing. We also support it. So not just from the same faith, but multiple faith organizations also said that, yes, we do have an incidences and we support it. So yes, if you can work in a consortium to get this kind of incidences recording, that is the best thing to do.
I would
So,
request everyone to please raise your hands and not speak in between. A lot of people are waiting in already, so please respect that. We do have some questions in the chat box as well, and there is a question. Can you also share all the documents and necessary required links and everything to the chapter coordinators?
yeah, please go ahead. Sailiji, please, you can call out the names who are waiting for long.
Okay, Subramaniam ji. Ikshwaku ji.
Anji, now we were talking about the grant. Normally, grant is not repayable like a loan, is it?
No.
No, but they
It is a-
monitored the progress, as you said. So that
Yeah.
is like a loan document. They, SBA or something, they want to monitor the project, whether we are doing good or bad or something. So something
Yes.
like that has happening, as you said, in your chat. I mean, you were talking about it. And I was requesting, of course, you said the Google document. Can we have the PDF documents of this one to the most
Yes.
organizations attending here?
Yes, we will give you. But yes, they do monitor it because it is the way the whole federal grant system works in USA, that they just don't give the money, but they want to make sure that the money is utilized for the cause that it's given for. So that's why they have this quarterly reporting structure where you are accountable for giving them the reports as well as the impact that the money has done for your organization or for the project.
Okay,
So yeah,
thank
it's
you.
mandatory. And
Analaji,
for
can I
all the
answer the
federal
question?
government.
Can I answer the question?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, what it is, Ishwakuji, it is when they approve the grant, they are simply saying this much money that you applied for these purposes are available. They're not giving you the money. What they do is every time you expend certain money, let us say you are doing it for fencing. So then you have to supply to them, how did you do the fencing? Did you follow all the federal procedures to make sure pick the correct vendor with proper bidding and all those things? And then
Right.
only they will give that money, so that you talk to the SAA all the time, trying to make sure you are meeting all the categories, so that you can make sure you will get the money for what you're expending. But you have to follow every little thing that they are prescribing, and they're not saying it, they're not keeping it secret. It's all out there in the open, in line. There are people to help you. So but you have to follow. This is a government grant. Yes, it is not a loan. You don't have to pay it back. But to get that money, you have to show the application, what you did, and this you have to match. That's all.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Subramaniam ji, for helping me.
Next we have Aniket ji.
Namaste ji. So one thing which I wanted to understand is that the grant which you have, which we are basically talking about, are there some other grants, and is this kind of meeting like a recurring thing where you basically provide information for other kind of grants as well? So that's the first two, and the third one is there kind of a mailing list where like I can join, or somebody from the org from my side can join?
Yes. So we started doing this for the non-profit security grant, but based on the interest that we have received in the other areas, as the new grants are opening, we are gonna go have these kind of workshops for other areas as well. Currently, we'll be focusing on the non-profit security grant for probably a next month or two, because this is a complicated grant. We will have the follow-up sessions also. So in order to get registered on our emailing list, earlier, there was a chat that was put in the, if Sailiji can repost it, if you just click on that Google form and register either yourself or anybody from your organization, you will be in our database, and we will be in touch with you, and you will be informed about all the workshops that will be happening throughout the year.
Ji,
So
dhanyawad ji. Thank you.
we won't be able to add you. We won't be able to add you if you put it in a chat right now. Please go ahead and register on this form, because most
Ji, ji.
likely we will miss this chat.
Ji. Thank you. Dhanyawad ji.
Thank you.
Next is Ganpati.
Go ahead, Ganpati ji.
Hello, namaste. My question is, there are different organizations that I know, different sizes, like the institutions. So does it matter what size of institution? I mean, what do they look at? Do they look at the turnover, or like, what is the balance sheet, or
No, I don't
how do
think they
they?
look at. They don't look at. They do ask for your financial audited documents. However, I don't think it really matters how big your organization is, as long as your justification is correct. Your vulnerability assessment and justification is accurate, and what you're really asking for is realistic. They will not care how big organization you are. Rather, they would like to fund you so that they can partner with you in future.
Sure. And one more question. It could be like there could be a security incident somewhere in, say, Minnesota, but I'm in California. Still, I could refer that and mention that this happened in Minnesota, so I'm also vulnerable because I belong to the same faith community or something like that.
Yes, you can definitely do that, but my suggestion is try to find the local incidences, because they will make your case much stronger.
Okay.
Right? And that's why I said work with the partners. We have a lot of temples and a lot of organizations within our states or within our locations and cities. So try to see if we can partner and try to gather these incidences. We just need maximum 3 or 4. And I'm pretty sure there can be many. And it need not be of the same faith also. So if you are in a California and if you work with, so in fact, the Minneapolis, no, the Indianapolis one that who got the grant, they actually work with 3 organizations of different faith, including I think Jews, Christians, and Sikhs. And they also reported the incidences on them, saying that, hey, see, we are saying that these kind of incidences happen on multiple faith organizations, and we are also one of them,
Okay,
something like that.
got it.
So try to avoid, um, if you can get a local incidences, that is better. But if you just can't, then yes, you can still use the other states' incidences to back your evidence.
Any timeline? Like, does it have to be within the last year or?
Within last 3 years.
Okay, got it. Awesome, thanks. Dhanyawad.
Thank you. Dhanyawad
We
ji.
have Neelam Gupta ji.
Go ahead, Neelam ji.
So, you're saying you can have a security officer and all that. So, do we have some like experienced people like who can be a security officer for your company or
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
be the security officer like who can come and assess, like professional, the consultant. Your resources for any consultant who can come and assess your vulnerability and all that.
No, we don't have such kind of resources actually. But yes, this senior security officers. So let me understand. You are saying that can there be any senior security officials who can come and do this assessment for you? Yes, if they can, definitely that would help your case. Any experts, any consultants like that, but we don't have any connects with such resources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
Maybe your state agencies can provide you that information. That is one good thing to check with your state agencies.
Okay, thank you.
We have some questions on the chat.
Okay.
Someone wants to know that what were the websites that you had mentioned where they can go and check the details.
FEMA. If you just for FEMA website, non-profit security grant FEMA, you can find those details in there.
Then another question is there a place on local SAA website to find those forms? Or it's available by emailing
No.
SAA contact?
You have to connect with them. It's not available on the websites. Or they might have uploaded, I don't know, but generally the expectation is you connect with them either email or phone.
Okay.
And it's always good to connect with them rather than just going for the online resources. You might get more insights into it from them.
Okay. Okay, and then we have so the chapter coordinators would like to know if they if all the information that you're sharing with all the temples can be shared with other chapter coordinators as well.
Yes. It can be shared with everybody. I will share that with our internal email list also. The IKK list, I will share the same details on that.
Okay. All right. Ikshwaku ji, do you have any question?
I see one hand raised.
Yeah. No, you already answered my question.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So there is a website given CISA.gov for physical security protecting houses, worship resources. So is it a good resource? Someone is asking.
Yes, it is a very good resource to identify what kind of protection. First of all, the parameter document that I just showed to explain how the parameters are evaluated is also part of that website. And there are multiple sections on what kind of threats and securities can be addressed. I think it's a good website to study. Yes, and get the idea from that what you guys want to implement and what will be. So that website will give you a lot more things on what can be implemented. I think it is now up to you how much you want to implement, it has to be realistic though. Yes, so this is the resource, and this is a good resource. Uh, so based on that, you guys can study and see what is missing in your facilities, what you want to implement, but don't just add the entire list because it is not doable for the entire like in 1 year. So make sure your project is realistic and attainable in within a time frame of 1 year. And plus, it has to be within the budget slot also. So if you add everything, I'm pretty sure it's gonna go overhead. So fitting that in the budget is also a requirement.
Anybody has any other question or anything to discuss?
Okay, so if there are no more questions, so I would really like to thank you all for joining today. I really hope,
Manalaji,
yeah, go
I
ahead.
apologize. I'm Niyati Vasani. I actually just I spoke to Tejal Ben, and she just told me that if you can announce about the Rath Yatra that the Vishwa Hindu Parishad of America is organizing.
I'm not aware about the details, so if you would like to go ahead and announce it, that is fine.
Thank you, thank you. I just wanted to let everybody know that thank you to all the mandirs who registered for the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Murti Pran Pratishtha celebrations. And we have a Rath Yatra starting from Chicago on the 25th of March, and it'll be coming to all the mandirs that have registered. By now, all the mandirs should have received some or the other information about this. If you haven't received the information or the certificate, you can reach out to me. My email address is niyati.vasani@vhp-america.org. And if you have any questions or concerns about it, also, you can reach out to me by email. And Manaliji, thank you so much. This was very informative. The entire webinar, it was fantastic. Thank you for all the resources that you shared with us.
Manaliji,
Right,
thank you very much.
thank
Just
you.
last thing, do you have the recording of this session will be available to all of us or no?
Yes, post this session, I will share the PPT, all the resources and the recordings with all the people who have registered over there. So I really urge you guys to please register there so that we have your email address to send you all the resources.
Okay, thank you.
One more
very much.
question from Arunji.
Yeah, Hari Om, Namaskar. Thanks for doing this call. I'm calling from Bharatiya Hindu Temple in Northwest Indiana in Merrillville. So we have a question. So our temple in Indianapolis, they have been successful in getting this grant twice, and we're trying to get some help from them. But we got an email from some company called Westcliff Technologies, a person named Sim Singh, who's offering to help us on this grant, and they're saying they'll take a 7% cut. So has anybody else gotten this sort of email from this company? And if it is credible, I just wanted to find out. Apparently,
At
they have
least
helped a lot of mosques and other Islamic institutions, but I don't know if this is credible. So I just thought I'd put it out there. It's called Westcliff, and it's the person's name is Sim Singh.
At least we haven't heard of anything like
Hi,
that.
this is Viren from
I want to-
HSCF Orlando, and I think we did receive this last year in November.
Okay.
But I don't believe we acted on it. We did look at it. So I wouldn't be able to answer that if they're credible or not.
Okay. Thank you.
Even if it is credible, I don't think like you can use the money, the 7% from the grant allotted to you. It's going to be
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have
just
to
be
have that as
aware
part
of
of the
it.
vulnerability, which you're not going to get.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I don't know, you can just talk to your SA directly saying that, hey, can we hire somebody like that? And have you heard about it? So I think they will be the better person to answer. But how much is the credibility of this organization is?
Thank you.
And then 10,500 is what they're saying for 150,000 grant. I think that's a significant amount too.
Yeah.
And
right,
just one last comment. Last comment.
Yeah.
Arun Balakrishnan, you mentioned that you have some experience and you got some grants already, right? For a couple of
No,
years.
not us. Our the temple in
Oh.
Indianapolis, HTCI,
Yeah, I
Temple in
mean,
Indiana. So
I mean,
they
I
are
mean,
they are experienced in this. So
I mean, so if you can, for the benefit of the larger community, if you can share your experience and steps that
Information.
yeah, that'll be useful for other people to
Yes,
take
agreed.
some bullet points.
yeah, no, it's like I said, I am from the temple, Bharati Temple in Merrillville, which is in the suburbs of Chicago. But this is in central Indiana, which is Indianapolis. I mean, I have the contacts. I'll check with them. I don't want to overwhelm them, but
So
certainly we'll check with them and share it.
Prem Pulusuri from Seva is already in touch with them, and we are trying to get all the details from them as well.
Okay.
Sure, awesome. Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So
Thank
we
you.
are already on it, and one more temple from Sacramento have received it. So we are
Sure.
also trying to get in touch with them so that we all can help each other as a community.
Which temple from Sacramento has got it? Because if their assessment can help the other temples in California.
I don't know the name. I will check with Premji and let you guys know. Even I don't know the details of it. Prem Pulusuri is trying to find these contacts.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
I mean, they can reach out to that Sacramento area coordinator. They have the details, Manalaji, and also ISKCON.
Okay.
Lot of ISKCON centers already got the grant.
They got it? Okay.
Yep.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yes, yeah,
Wonderful.
ISKCON Lagna. I know some. I don't want to mention the names here, but I know. Yes.
So you are telling me ISKCON Laguna in California, Orange, in LA? Sorry.
You can PM me because I don't want to overwhelm them. So if you want.
No, that's fine. We have been in touch with them because our temple was started initially with their support. So that's why I was asking. So we have been in constant touch with them. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk offline, Shivji.
Okay, sure. Appreciate that. No problem. Yeah.
All right. So thank you all for joining and being patient. And we really hope we all work together, support each other, and try to get these grants for all our temples if possible. All right. Namaste.
Thank you.
Dhanyavad.
Namaste.
Namaskar. Thank you.
Namaste and
Namaskar.
have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Bye bye. Namaste.
Kaliji, I hope you have stopped the recording.
I'll be doing that.